This is another behind the scenes video of my latest photo shoot of the Mountain Dew can with light streaks in the background. I'm going to shoot this against black, and I don't have a black table, so I had to use a white table, and I'm just putting black fabric over it and then a sheet of glass on top of it to get the reflection. Uh, put the Mountain Dew can on the middle, and then I'm adjusting the camera um, to the correct height so I can get a lot of a reflection out of the photo. At first I did it, level with the Mountain Dew can, but the higher you go, the more reflection you get. So I ended up changing it to a higher, and I'm using 100 millimeter 5D Mark II. I'm putting two flashes on about more than half power, or I mean less than half power. I got a 580EX2 on the left and a 430EX2 on the right. Bare. Um, it was creating some hot spots on the bottle because the bottle's shiny. So I tried to use an umbrella to see if it affected the light at all, and it didn't. I liked the bare light better, so I ended up taking off the umbrellas. I'm just testing different modifiers to see how it affects the pictures, and it looked the best with just the bare lights. So what I ended up doing is actually took multiple shots of the same thing on the table, the same Mountain Dew can, and I just moved the lights to the left and right a little bit and took a couple different shots. And I did that because later in Photoshop I end up taking the glare out by merging two of the bottles. Okay, right here I shut off the lights. I'm doing the light streak. So before I shut off the lights, I actually got all the lights set up correctly on the actual photo. So I was at about 5.6 aperture, and I was at 1/60th of a second, 160th of a second. Once I got all my lights set correctly, I adjusted the shutter speed to be like a full 5 seconds, so um, that way I could get a light streak in the shot. And then I had to shut off all the lights because at 5 seconds it's gonna capture all the ambient light in the room. So I ended up shutting off all the lights, and then I was taking, I set up the camera on a remote trigger and had a 2 second delay. So I'd take the picture, the light would go off, take a picture of the actual Mountain Dew bottle, and then I would have 5 seconds to do a light streak. And I'm using an LED flashlight with two gels. I have a green gel on the light and a red and a blue gel on the other half of the light. So I have two gels on the flashlight, and I have them taped on, just regular flash gels, and I'm taped on the flashlight. And as I take the picture, I'm just doing a bunch of different shapes, and I probably took like 30 or 40 pictures, um, and then once I think I got a good enough shot, I usually leave the studio set up so that way if I didn't like any of the shots, I can come back and take another shot. So this is me importing all the photos into Lightroom. Once they're all imported, I go through and rate them. I usually start with like a 3 rating, then I go back and view all the 3 stars, and then I go through the 3 stars and I rate which ones I like the best out of those. Out of this group, I ended up liking 3 different shots, so I actually edited all 3. Um, I raised the blacks a little bit to make the blacks darker. And then after picking all 3 of the final photos, I ended up bringing them all into Photoshop. Oh, right here I'm actually going through my list of uh, the previous shot so I can get the glare. I grabbed a picture of the Mountain Dew with the glare that was missing because I had, my final photo I had 2 big glare marks on the bottle. So I'm also importing another picture of a Mountain Dew can. and I'm overlapping the Mountain Dew can without the glare, or not necessarily without the glare, but the glare in just a different position over my final picture, and I'm just pretty much masking out the glare from so where the glare was on my final photo. I'm putting the photo without the glare on top of it, and then just grabbing the photo without the glare and masking it in there. Right here, what I'm doing is I'm actually there was a little bit of the glare that I couldn't get rid of, so I'm actually tracing it with the lasso tool and just coloring in with the paintbrush um, to darken the edges of some of the lines. Um, And instead of just filling it in all one color, I actually grab the eyedropper, and then I select a color that I'm copying from, and I just paint, and I make sure that I have the you know the edges really soft, so that way I can choose a really big brush, and I just click a feather times. That way it feathers in a nice smooth color, so it's not that noticeable. And then through here, I'm brightening up the white in the middle of the bottle. So I just grabbed the magic wand, selected all the white, and then I just took the paintbrush and I painted white in there. Another way you could have done that instead of actually painting white was I ended up taking the burn and dodge and actually just adjusting the highlights, and that's what I'm doing right there. Is I'm adjusting the highlights in the you know in the white and black areas. I'm just making it darker and brighter. It kind of gives it more of a glow feel. And then after I edited this bottle, it was pretty much the exact same bottle in all the pictures. So I just outlined the bottle real quick, and I copied it over to all three pictures. That way, when I decided finally chose a photo, I didn't have to re-edit all three. I actually ended up picking the photo that I actually edited fully. Um, and that's pretty much it. Once I brought it back into Lightroom, I did some spot removal. I could have done that in Photoshop, but I ended up just doing it in Lightroom. And that's pretty much it. Exported them.